Bruh. Oh my goodness. So many of you guys have asked me to talk about the United Healthcare CEO incident. And I really don't have much to say other than I wish the best for his family. But other than that, I mean, I probably am not going to say anything that you probably haven't heard. One of them being, I'm surprised that this is a rare incident that I've heard of, okay? Because I don't hear a lot of these, healthcare provider, CEOs or these workers or these high executives being popped at or being attacked or anything like that. So it reminds me of the scene from The Joker.
If it was me dying on the sidewalk, you'd walk right over me. I pass you every day and you don't notice me. But these guys, what, because Thomas Wayne cried about them on TV?
Where, he's sitting down and he's like, you know what you get what you effing deserve. And I'm not to say that this is the guy for that scene, that this is what he deserves. I'm just saying that there is a problem in the country. And when you look at the right, I feel that the right's response to this is going to be, well, he should have had a gun. If he had a gun, he would have been able to defend himself. Or they would probably, attack police and be like, oh, well, this is what happens when you defund the police. This is what goes on and yada, yada, yada. And I think the left is going to be like, well, I think we need some health care. I think we got to lower the cost for the American worker. I think, health care is a human right. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a meeting of the minds when it comes to this predicament. When it comes to an incident like this, I think people, for the most part, are going to overlook it. I think for the vast majority of Americans, we don't have any ill will towards the guy, but at the same time, we're not going to go out of our way to find this gunman. I don't think anyone in New York is going to go out of their way to pinpoint this gunman and be like, hey, that was him. It was him right there. I don't think that's going to happen because I think there's a universal feeling when it comes to a disgust and a disdain towards our healthcare system, towards insurance.
You want to get to him, you got to go through me.
And me.
Me too.
And then if you go and look at United Healthcare, you see that they're ranked fairly high when it comes to, if not the highest, when it comes to denying claims. So it's very much a distaste for the whole system and anyone having to deal with it. Now, this guy, I don't know, I believe he was like a new CEO or whatnot. He'd only been in the position for 2 years or something to that extent. But there is an understanding that upon working for such a company that I would argue is evil in such cases, when they have people who go out of their way to try and protect the company instead of American citizens, then this is what we get. This is what happens. And once again, I'm surprised this is not a reoccurring incident. I think there have been more school incidents than there have been such cases like this. And I don't know what to tell you. I think that there should be a focus on the American people. And unfortunately, there are other people who don't believe that to be the case. I think there's more of an effort to assist those in Gaza or to assist those in Israel than to assist people here in the United States. And they keep on talking about, especially on the right, talking about, hey, well, you should have a family. You should have more kids. You should have all these kids. But yet they don't put any policies or legislation that would codify that sentiment. You can't be telling people to have families, but then, eliminating, social services for when that person does have a child or they can't take care of them. Because that's what they've said. Hey, whether you can take care of them or not, have a baby. We're at a low birth rate. You can't be banning abortions, but then vilifying and weaponizing single parent households. You can't be doing that. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth. So either you actually want us to have families, then great. Then pay people a wage that they can have a family. I don't know why this is so complicated, but they come off as hypocritical because everything they say they allegedly want and they stand for, they do the exact opposite when it comes to legislation.
Congregation, I said, can I get an amen?
And whether or not the left is, in a chokehold by the right, or whether or not they're, ineffective themselves, whether it comes to messaging or, marketing, or whether it comes to turnout and getting the people out, then where are we? Where is the average American? I feel like we're screwed. I feel like we are without a voice in this government. And when people don't have a voice in this government, that's when things start to go awry. When it comes to this incident, when it comes to United Healthcare worker, it seemed that it was very targeted. It seemed very personal. Now, we come to find out that apparently this dude, who was very careful with how he set up the bicycle. He was very careful in even how he was handling his gun and, the silencer. The police were like, I believe him to be very proficient.
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly.
Him leaving a message in the casings where it's like, defend, deny, depose, or something to that effect. I believe those were the words.
Investigators say they found shell casings with writing on them, including the words deny, defend, and depose.
This was very much a message to healthcare providers. Now, I don't think healthcare providers are going to take anything from this. I don't think they're going to go, you know what? We have been screwing over people. You know what we're going to do? We're going to start lowering costs because we don't need an extra few million for our CEO. We don't need an extra few million for our COO. We don't need an extra few million for our CFO. How about we pay our workers more and we actually help, our constituents? That's what we're going to do. I don't think that is going to be the solution from this incident. I think what is going to happen is what we're seeing is they're now starting to take they're starting to take pictures off of their websites. Usually you would have, hey, this is our CEO, this is, this person in the company. And instead what they're doing is just removing them off the picture. They're not changing any policy. They'll probably boost their security, but they're not going to learn anything from this that's going to benefit the American people from what I've seen. I don't think there's a period of time where this has ever benefited the American people, post the Revolutionary War, to be honest with you, because it seems that people have gotten hardened. It seems that people have gotten desensitized. School incidents that happen frequently, when you're having people who are starving and they're, going to stores or robbing and everything, you get desensitized to all. So it's just like, it is what it is. And when you think that the government is against you, or you think that these companies are against you, and they do everything in their power to reassure you that they are, then when we have situations like this, what really happens? The American people are dead inside. We're like, okay. The companies, they're like, well, we just need more security. So it's a stalemate in many cases. And I think what needs to happen is that there needs to be some progress. There needs to be some push to help the American people, because we're clearly hurting. And we're hurting by this extortion. We're hurting by an aggressive, a hyper sense of capitalism, where we have foregone, the sentiment and well-being of the American people and just hyper focus on profits. That's it. And when you get profits, you get profits at the cost of the American people. And I don't think it needs to be either or. I don't think they need to be mutually exclusive. I think you can make a good amount of money while also not having people starving in the streets, while also not having, actors. There was an actor from the Loki series who was talking about, hey, I'm homeless, right? I had an abusive family and now I'm living in, a trailer and stuff like that. I don't think that needs to be the case.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
But when the whole resolution is to just throw them in jail, like who does that help? That doesn't help anybody. Maybe the state, due to the cheap labor, as we can see in California, who doesn't care about slavery, they're like, yeah, get the cheap labor. So I think the moral compass for this country is completely off. And I highly doubt that Trump is going to bring it back. I highly doubt this, Trump is going to bring it back. So this may be, unfortunately, the new normal. This may be it. If we have a Democrat Party who's incompetent and a right-wing party who is completely spineless and standing up against, a monster to which they even said so themselves, the own VP calling him Hitler, then we're looking at the beginning of the end. Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know whether or not you see this as a win, like, Lucas, this needs to happen more often, or you see this as a loss. It's like, no, this isn't good. even if you disagree with the policies, this is not the way to go about it. I would say I agree with you, but what's our recourse, right? Because we don't even have rights. The only way you have rights is if you have the ability and the capital to defend those rights in court. Because if someone violates your rights, what are you going to do? What do they tell you? Go through the court system. Court system costs money. It costs time and it costs money. And if you're put in a position where you have neither, you have no rights. I just fail to see how people don't comprehend that. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me. Friday and Sunday, Disagreement Day. Call in and we'll duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think about this scenario. Is he a hero or is he a villain? And subscribe. And all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.